Hello, and welcome to Find Your Stats in a Flash, a program to walk you through national, state, and local resources for finding Indiana data for grant proposals. This is part of a series put on by the Indianapolis Public Library on how to build a nonprofit organization. My name is Katie Springer. I'm a reference librarian at the Indiana State Library, and I also serve as coordinator for Indiana's State Data Center Program, a federal state cooperative program between the U.S. Census Bureau and the state of Indiana, which helps establish and grow collaborations for locating, sharing, and using data between academics, economists, government agencies, libraries, and other community-minded organizations in Indiana. I do not pretend to have experience writing grant proposals, though I have helped people with doing this. I have experience locating data, and that's why I'm here. Getting all of your details right on grant applications can be harrowing enough as it is, and we're here to make it easier for you to locate the data you need. So if you don't see data represented in this presentation that you need for your grants, let me know. I'm always gathering new sources for good data, and I like to share good resources. So before we get started on where to find our resources, one of the main reasons we're all here is how do you use research data in grant proposals? Here are the questions we need to consider when preparing our search for data. This comes from the Community Research Institute of the Johnson Center for Philanthropy and Nonprofit Leadership in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we start with the question of who is in need. What is the population group? Where are they? Where do they live? Where do they stay? If they're a mobile population, where is the shelter where they live? Where do they sleep at night? When is the need evident? What is our time frame? Is this a project that will be able to fund 3 years? Or is it something that is just a temporary funding on the spot for a 1 month time period? What exactly is the need? Why does this need occur? What are the consequences of meeting this need? And how is this need related to your organization? The data you need can provide a portrait of the community that you're serving. It can provide context for the larger idea of your project, or it can do both. You can find reliable, authoritative data in a number of places. We recommend you use our services to help you ensure you're using quality public data. We are partnered with the Census Bureau of the Department of Commerce. In Indiana, we collaborate with several other agencies in the state to make this a robust program. The Indiana Business Research Center, or IBRC, of IU's Kelley School of Business is our major digital partner. We also collaborate with the Department of Workforce Development and the Indiana Geographic Information Council. In Indianapolis, you can get immediate assistance via the State Data Center at the Indiana State Library. That's also where our State Data Center reference collection lives. The library is staffed daily with librarians with expertise in various subject areas. We act as a team to help you obtain data on a variety of topics. You can walk in, call us, or submit a data request online 24/7. Before you access data sources, it's important to consider these things about the data you're including in your grant proposal. Accuracy. Accuracy is very important, as you know. We all want the most accurate information that we can get. Timeliness is also very important. You want the most updated data possible. If you're presenting a study that was done over a time span that ended in 2012, this may be outdated data for your purposes. And if you're using historical data from the past to create context to tell the story of a problem or need, you need to make it clear that this is the purpose for telling this particular story about this data. Relevancy is important as well. You'll find through your data search that you may not always find the exact data that you want, but maybe it's something that's related and usable instead. The goal is to present data directly relevant to the funding that you're requesting. You're looking for numbers that help strengthen your case. You're using this data to describe your needs for funding and to draw attention to your target population. Context. You don't forget that in explaining a need, you're telling a story to your audience. You're using these numbers to demonstrate historical and current evidence that a particular vulnerability exists in a certain community. You can also use data to prove the success of similar projects in your geographic area. As a librarian, I need to remind you of this. Cite your sources. Always cite your sources. Where is the data from? Is it from an online database? Did you go to a library and pick up a census volume and get it there? Is it a government report that you accessed online? When did you access it? What was the date and what time of day? Some databases actually do provide a date stamp, and that's sometimes the most important detail in your citation is the time and date on your access. Who owns or maintains this data? Who conducted the survey? What agency or organization published the report? Who maintains the website that you downloaded this data from? So pay attention as you're gathering the data that you're putting into spreadsheets or reports. You can make notes in the bottom of the spreadsheet or make your own notes on paper or on your computer, but whichever way you choose to do it, make note of how you're gathering this data and where it comes from. If you need assistance with formal citations, you can ask a librarian. There are many different styles for citations, and whatever style you choose, just be sure to cite your sources. So now we come to the most important question. Where do we find authoritative sources for our data? The organizations listed here on this very busy slide are a really good place to start for Indiana data. These resources are national, state, and local level data sources. And for the most part, everything is a free data product from across the state of Indiana. So we're going to go through some of these data sources to show exactly how we access some of the data. The first thing we're going to start with is the very first source, the U.S. Census Bureau. And we're going to use their new data portal called data.census.gov. If you've ever accessed data using the Census Bureau, you may remember that American Fact Finder has been used for the last couple of censuses and for any American Community Survey data. They have gone to a brand new website called data.census.gov. So that's where we're going to start. Now you'll notice there's no www there, it's just straight in the URL data.census.gov. So we get to the website and you'll see that it says explore census data and then there is a search box right underneath. The search box will get you to your basic search results, but what I normally use is the advanced search. So we're going to use advanced search today. So you'll see under advanced search that you can enter a specific table ID if you know which table ID that is, but most of us go into the search really just having a general idea of a topic or an area of the country or the state that we're interested in getting data for. So we'll go down here to Browse Filters. This lets you browse by topics. So I'll click Topics, and any number of these topics there are data for. Probably the two that I use the most with data requests are income and poverty, and business and economy, and possibly education and employment. So let's go to income and poverty, just as an example. Any of the options that we have on our next menu will be bolded, and the rest will be grayed out like this wealth and assets is. So I'm going to go ahead and click this checkbox for income and poverty. And this is the last step in my selection of topics. So right now, in order to get that to appear in my search box down here, I would have to click that checkbox. So you'll see as I unclick that checkbox, the topic disappears down here. I'm going to X this menu out so that it's a little bit clearer. So I have this little search box at the bottom of my screen, Selected Filters, and I'm basically building the elements of my search. Income and poverty is my first element. So now I'm going to go back to the Browse Filters menu, so the main menu here, and say I would like to look at income and poverty in one specific county in Indiana. So I go to Geography, and here I can go straight to county level. So I'm going to click that. It takes a little while to populate this menu because it has all of the states on it. So where I want to look is within Indiana. So I scroll down to Indiana and select our state. What comes up, because I've already selected county level, is all 92 counties in Indiana. So if I don't want to look at all counties in Indiana, I just want to look at one or a couple. Let's scroll down and see if we can find Monroe County. Here's Monroe County, and as I click that, it populates the box down here. So income and poverty in Monroe County, Indiana. And if I'm finished with my general search, I can go ahead and click search here, and it's going to give me several different options for my search. Luckily, the search was very fast this time. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So here I can find Monroe County, Indiana profile, which if I click, it's going to give me kind of a point in time snapshot of several different things about Monroe County. I can also look over here at the tables. You'll see across the top that there are tables, maps, and page results. So over here, I'm interested in some of these tables. Poverty status in the past 12 months, income in the past 12 months, and maybe I want to see details about the SNAP program in Monroe County. And it says there are 418 tables in my results. And at this time, I don't want to look at all of those, but if I wanted to view tables other than these first ones in the result list, then I could click that button there. As I scroll down, there are maps as well, basically on the same topics as those tables. So poverty status, income. And then as I scroll down, remember our search was for income and poverty. So These page results are from the census.gov website. So there are different pages with different topics on them that give you a little bit of context for the data that you're looking for. So if you need that kind of information, data.census.gov has that here. So for now, I'm going to choose the income in the past 12 months for Monroe County, Indiana. If you look at the years that are available, I've pretty much got the whole last decade available to me, which is very useful. As you see, when it comes up, it's only going to show you a very quick snapshot of the table. Of course, this is not every single year, but if we scroll across, we can see some of the elements of this table. And if we go up here to the year and choose the drop-down menu, we can see each year back to 2010. So if you do need data for every single year, you can download that. For now, let's say we just want this most recent data. And if you choose that drop-down menu and you make sure that it scrolls to the top, this is the most recent data that's available, the 2019 American Community Survey one-year estimates. So let's say I would like to download this table. I'm going to go into Customize Table. And now I'm at a screen that allows me to go to some additional options across the top of the page. The most useful options here, I think, are the transpose table right here, which allows me to get all of these rows, all of the information in these cells, and take those across the top, across the columns. So let's say I choose transpose table, and that's what it does. So for 2019, for this table, it's letting me see these income ranges across the top. It also, in this screen, lets me choose different years. So if I'd like to see 2018 one-year estimates or 2017 one-year estimates, I can do that. It also lets me see margin of error. So let's click that. And it looks like it has removed the margin of error from the table. And if I click it again, it has the margin of error. Since this is an estimate, this is plus or minus 1,871. It creates a range of values surrounding the estimate. So if I'd like to download this specific table for the 2019 estimates, I click download. It will let me choose other years at this point, but I would like just the 2019 one-year estimates. The file type, it will let you choose a CSV, which is an Excel file, and it will also let you choose a PDF. But this time I'm going to click just CSV because I'd like to make changes to the table, and it'll let me just download it into a CSV file, which is Excel. So I'll click download now, and it has given me a zip file. I wait for that to download. I click the zip file, and there are my Excel files. Now, it'll give you both a data file and a metadata file. So we'll click this data file, and you'll see that there's still a little bit of cleanup that has to take place, but for the most part, on the second row, you'll see the estimate is here, and the margin of error is here. And it's for Monroe County, and it's for 2019. The elements of this row and these columns, that's what the metadata file is for. So we'll have to open up that metadata file. And it will give you the codes for those income ranges that are across the top in the other Excel file. So it'll say this is the column with less than 10,000 in income for that year, an income range of 10,000 to 14,999, and so on. So let's close out these because I'd like to show you one more example with data.census.gov. And let's go back to the original search. I'm going to scroll down the original data.census.gov page for you so that you get a sense of what the site looks like. There's a section for reviewing tables. There are data profiles for the US and major cities, maps and visualizations for the US, and industry and NAICS codes for business and economy research. We'll just scroll down a little bit more. This gives you profiles of certain geographic areas and also microdata. This is for if you're looking for a certain kind of information that is not available in the data.census.gov automatically populated tables. And you can actually request microdata for different geographies if you're not finding it within data.census.gov. You'll see on data.census.gov, they're still working on certain aspects of this site. So they say if you would like to provide feedback, go ahead and email them. And I encourage you, since this is the beginning of us using this website, since they have just really developed this in the past few years, if you do have questions or feedback on your use of the site, go ahead and email the development team because they do respond to our questions and our requests. So let's go to advanced search, and let's say I'd like to look at education this time. So I go to topics, education. I'm just going to stay broad with my search, so I'm just going to click education. Let's say I would like to look at a few different areas of Indiana, so I click geography. And this time I'd like to look at the school districts. So I'm going to scroll down and see what my options are for school districts. You'll see that there's an elementary school district and a secondary school district option, but I'm going to keep scrolling down to see what else there is. And you'll see some of these, the Census Bureau, census tract and block group. You can look at things by 5-digit zip code, which is really useful. And it looks like the secondary and elementary level school districts are the only school district options I've got. So, oh, look, Unified School District. That's what I'm going to choose, since it's going to give me basically a whole county of, or a whole area of Indiana that has different school districts in it. So I'll choose Indiana. And you'll see if, as you scroll down, some of these school districts are related to counties, some of them are related to cities, but every unified school district has a geographic area name connected to it. So if I know the area of Indiana I'm looking at, say I want to look at Brown County schools, so I go to the Brown County School Corporation, and that's populated in the search box, and I'm going to go ahead and click search. So it gives me a little data snapshot up here that 27.4% of the population of Brown County has a bachelor's degree or higher within that district. I scroll down and I see some options for different tables I can look at. So I can look at that educational attainment that it told me about. We can look at field of bachelor's degree for first major in college. We can look at school enrollment, place of birth by educational attainment, and many other sources for data. There's also 71 more tables on in that list. And also I can look at maps. So let's say we want to look at an educational attainment map. I'm going to click on that. So it's zooming us into Indiana automatically, and then it zooms in to Brown County. I'm going to go to this data variable section, and let's say we want to look at the population 18 to 24 years with a bachelor's degree or higher. And let's say I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see the rest of the counties. Let's say we'd like to see what this color means within the legend. And it looks like it's giving me a 99% range, but that's a little bit confusing there, how that legend is telling me and what it means. So let's go ahead and change how the legend is appearing. For that, I'm going to have to choose Customize Map and go to Settings in my legend. And if I scroll down a little bit, I can go to my color palette. I can change my color palette to green. Looks like it isn't giving me many options to change that legend. It gives me some options to change the years that I want and the data variables that I want. And also it gives me options to choose these different geographies as well. So let's try another map. How about school enrollment? So it's zooming us into Brown County. I'm going to go back into Customize Map and Settings. And it looks like it's not giving me many options to see exactly any kind of range. So pretty much what this map is telling us is that the total population 3 years and over enrolled in school in Brown County is exactly 3,039 people. So in order to get a more varied map, we'll have to actually choose more counties to put in our search. So let's go back to the search and go to geography. We're still wanting a unified school district in Indiana. So I'm not going to change anything except I'm going to choose all school districts within Indiana so that I can show you a little bit more about the map feature. I'll click search and we're going to go down to school enrollment again under maps. And you'll start to see some of the numbers appear in the legend now. And as we scroll in a little bit, we can scroll into the Brown County area and the surrounding unified school districts of that area. So it's very, very faint, but you can start to see some of the names of the school districts within these district boundaries. Here's the Brown County School Corporation and the surrounding school corporations, Monroe County, Richland, Bean Blossom, Bartholomew County. And you'll see now the legend makes a little bit more sense. These ranges are color-coded so that population 3 years over enrolled in school with this range appears in a darker blue, and with this range appears in a lighter blue. You can also customize this map, and now I can actually show you what some of these settings do. So it's giving me the option of how many data classes and how many natural breaks there are. Looks like it's still not letting me change much about that, but we can change the color palette. And we can also go back to the table that's related to this school district map. So let's back out of this search. And go on to our next data source. Stats Indiana, which is stats.indiana.edu. Let's try this a different way. Is maintained by the Indiana Business Research Center. And the great thing about Stats Indiana is that it takes national, state, and local data sources and pulls the sources from all of these organizations to create Indiana-specific data. If you look at their data by topic, you'll see an A to Z list of topics. Let's go into labor force and unemployment, which is a popular search right now. And you'll see that they've pulled different national data sources and state level data sources. Hoosiers by the Numbers is from the Department of Workforce Development. And they give us a few different options on this topic page. So let's go back to the data by topic. Go to a couple of more topics. There's a COVID-19 specific resource hub. And as you scroll down, you'll see some of these official sites, the CDC, the World Health Organization, and coronavirus.gov. They've put additional sources like the Johns Hopkins coronavirus case data visualization. The Polis Center of IUPUI has a coronavirus data hub, and several other news and educational agencies have sources that are listed here. Some COVID testing data on hospitals, Regent Street here in Indianapolis, COVID vulnerability data, and an update of government actions on COVID. There's even a jobs and unemployment due to COVID section, COVID impact surveys, economic dashboards, and more. So I encourage you to go to that for any COVID-related data that you need. We'll go back up here to the data by topic. So we've looked at the labor force and unemployment, the COVID-19 data. Let's go to the census data. The 2020 census is being conducted right now. And after the 2020 census data comes out, it will be posted here on the census page. For now, it has 2010, 2000, and 1990 census data. So any of the demographic profiles you need for different levels of geography are on this page. So they've got the Indiana counties, but also all states. They've got congressional and legislative district profiles, which are really helpful, especially if you're looking for grant data within a certain congressional district. And then it goes backwards in time. We've got some 2000 census data, some 1990, and other historical decennial census data. You'll see on all of the Stats Indiana pages that your results will be listed on the left-hand side. There will be related publications on the right-hand side in this box, and then any related news you'll see on the right-hand side in this box. And at the top, there's always going to be a general search box. So let's say we're looking for education data on this site. I click education, and it gives me quite a few results, but the top one is the education topic page. So I'm going to open that. And like any of the other topic pages, it has results on the left-hand side and publications and news data on the right-hand side. Let's view the education map gallery. So we can see some of the thematic maps that exist in the Stats Indiana collection. These are made with the most recent data that's available. Let's go back to the education topic page. So this is going to have, again, Indiana-specific data, but from national, state, and local sources. So we can scroll down and see what sources it's from. The Department of Education, National Center for Education Statistics, Indiana Gateway for Government Units, and other related links, Census Bureau links. So I encourage you to explore Stats Indiana. It is very useful for Indiana-specific data, and it has several different resources on the page. It takes a little bit of time to explore all of the resources on this page. Okay, so let's explore our next source, which is from the IUPUI Polis Center. It's called SAVI. And it stands for Social Assets and Vulnerabilities Indicators. SAVI is a project of the IUPUI Polis Center, and it has been around for several years. What it focuses on right now is central Indiana data, but they're really trying to expand to county by county out from the central Indiana area to further cover other geographies. Right now, it's just the kind of donut area around Marion County, so between 11 and 13 counties is what it covers. With SAVI, there are certain flavors of SAVI. So if you go to SAVI and scroll down, it'll give you at least there are 6, 7, 8 different tools. And what the Polis Center has done is they have trainings specific to the kind of data that you're looking for. So if you go onto the Polis Center website, you can find different trainings for using SAVI. They also have some online trainings that you can attend. So they have a little bit of information here on their site about video tutorials and SAVI training. I'm going to show you original SAVI, which I'm more accustomed to. So I'm going to go to Use SAVI Classic. And the powerful thing about SAVI is that it goes down to the neighborhood level. So instead of going straight to the Census Bureau's website like we did and going to the data.census.gov and downloading all those tables, what it does is it compiles all of the information for neighborhoods within Marion County and has demographic profiles based on those geographic areas. So you can get to more specific data without downloading all of the information yourself. For example, we can go to, we'll just use the example that they give us here, the service area search, Broad Ripple. We'll choose Broad Ripple and click search. Oh, and it looks like they are doing maintenance on Savvy. So instead of doing any kind of live demo on that, I'm going to take you to their training site and show you a couple of things that you can do to get training on using Savvy. So as it says here, you can sign up to use and learn how to use Savvy. There are a few different trainings coming up in October. And what you do here is click any of these links. It'll take you to the Polis Center website. You don't have to be an IUPUI student to sign up for these trainings. You can just be a community member that wants to learn how to use this really powerful demographic tool. Okay, let's move on to our next data source. And that's the Indiana State Library's Inspire. So Inspire is a collection of free access to databases that the state of Indiana allows us to access. I'm going to go into advanced search to show you some of these results that you can get. So say we're looking for information on regional business and economics. I'm going to do a search and let's see what it comes up with. So for the most part in Inspire, you're going to use this for contextual information about your data. When I search for regional business and economics, it's going to do a more national search unless I put Indiana in the search. So let's put "and Indiana" and click search. And as you can see, this is also a pretty powerful tool. It's giving me over 150,000 results. And if we scroll down, we can see some of the different things that are going on in regional economics. On the left-hand side, we can look for scholarly journal articles, and we can narrow it down by academic journals or magazines or just news. And we can filter by different databases. So these different databases are Business Source Complete, Complementary Index, Academic Search Complete, Management Collection, and Master File. I'm going to go back to the Inspire main site, and I'm going to show you the list of databases A to Z that it searches. So as you can see, just scrolling down quickly, you've got lots and lots of databases that this explores just on a simple search. So what you can do with your search, you can narrow it down to these specific databases if you'd like. And again, this is information to provide context for your data. And it's provided free from the state of Indiana. So let's X out of here. And the last source I'm going to show you is a source that, if you're having trouble finding data on your own, you can use what we call the FDLP, which is the Federal Depository Library Community. So I'm just going to Google Federal Depository Library Program. Now, the FDLP is a large network of libraries across the nation that provide free public access to government information. So if you want to find an FDLP library in your community, you can go to the website that's listed on our slide in the presentation, or you can go to the state library's website, which is in.gov/library. Go to our collections and services. Scroll down and you'll see federal documents. So not only are we an FDLP library at the state library, but it can show you different libraries if you're not in the Indianapolis area that you can go to for help in finding data. We also have Government Information Day, which is a one-day conference that we have every 2 years for people that are interested in learning more about government information and data. So that ends our live demo of different web sources. And lastly, I'd just like to give you access to my contact information. I'm at the Indiana State Data Center at the State Library. I'm available every day. Of course, now we're working somewhat mobily, so I'm at home some days and I'm in the building some days. But what we're doing is we're allowing people to come in for 2-hour appointments, and I'm happy to sit with you and do a consultation on where the best place to find the data for your grant proposal is. So if you'd like to make an appointment with me, call or email, and we can sit down and go over your project and make sure that you're looking toward the best data sources for you. We can also sit down at the computers and I can give you a one-on-one tutorial on accessing different data sites. In this particular session, we've only really scratched the surface in what is available to us publicly in terms of public data. So if you work with me on your project individually, we can start to explore a lot of other data sources that there are available. For assistance, please contact me. Thank you very much.